Okay, family, it's time for us to get together. Let's get together. Today, we're going to talk about black men and business and how has the Trump administration helped black businesses. See, nobody really talks about that. We never talk about that. We talk about, we gave up our civil rights. We easily giving that up, family. You know it. We sitting by the side while they give up, while they destroy our history, try to erase us from American history. But I saw I saw a commercial where the Indians, the Native Americans, were saying we are the first Americans. Oh, they saying that if you want to tell somebody to go back, you go back to Europe, because see, America, these no offense, we ain't finna talk about that. But see, the folks that came from England didn't come from England because, they wanted a vacation site or they wanted to see. Many of them were criminals and all that other stuff, and they was fleeing their country. And then others came here to pursue a better life. And, it was us black Americans that was brought over here and why we were brought. But anyway, so I met this black businessman here, and he went to talking about his business. Oh, he proud of it. I own, what you own, sir? I own a detail shop and a mechanic shop. Oh, okay. Okay. He trying to flirt with me. He trying to flirt. Yeah. I one thing about it is that, I still can pull one or two in every now and then. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I said, okay, that's real nice. I said, I'm happy for you. He started flirting with me. So I said, well, you know what? I said, let me put on my pre-interview thing, since he want to sit here and lure me in with his business. He trying to lure, Samantha in. Y'all, come on now. I said, okay, let me ask you a question, sir. I said, you own a mechanic shop and a detail shop? Yeah. He said, you gonna need some work done on. See, he don't know that, what? I am a semi-dependent, independent person. When I know I need brakes on my car, I can put my brakes on my car. When I know that, like this weekend, I'm putting 2 oxygen sensors on up under my car. The man gonna help me. I need some strength sometimes, so the man gonna help me. Let's see. I'm putting taking my tires off to put some new rotors and brakes on. Yeah, Miss Sophia, you need some new rotors and brakes. So I'm going to get me one of them heavy duty jacks, and the tire stands and stuff, so I can go and do my little work. I carry a toolbox with me, so I don't need you. I don't need you now, unless it's something major. I don't need you. So I said, okay, how long you been in business? Oh, I've been in business for 20-something years. Okay, you live in business. Where you shop at? Oh, he told me the shop, showed me pictures of it. Little old hut, little old piece of garage, something. Okay, you been in business for 20-some years. I said, did you use a small business loan to get this? Or, no, I just went and found me a building and opened up shop and everything. Oh, okay. I said, well, do you have an account with other vendors for supplies and stuff? No, they have to bring their stuff in. You know where this going. So I said, well, okay, well, I said, you're trying to impress me. So I said, I gotta ask, what is the company's worth? What you mean? I said, what is the company's net worth? All companies that have business are into net worth. Oh, I ain't worried about that. Do you have life insurance? Why you asking all these questions? Well, we both up in age, I'm not trying to, if you want to date me, I'm not finna try to be a caregiver, I got medical issues of my own. So we got to talking, and of course, I'm gonna talk about what's going on and how the Trump administration is doing what they doing. First thing he tells me, black man here, I voted for Trump. You did? I said, why did you vote for Trump? See, y'all women don't understand business and stuff. See, people don't understand business and everything, and he just a businessman. He been in business all his life. He had made tons of money and all of that, blah blah blah, all this and stuff, and he know how to wheel and deal. So I got to thinking. I said, well, that's basically, I can understand how you could relate to him. I said, you being you, I truly understand how you can relate to Donald Trump. I said, you been in business. I said, Donald Trump knows how to run businesses down to the ground, but yours never left the ground. I got to smile when I say that. I said, because if it did, you wouldn't be still in this place 20-some years, and it looks run down. And you will have a net profit. You will have somebody to work for you. You have several. It's a company that this man, he bought a white man bought a used, old repair place. I think it was Firestone, and he built it. And then I've been here 10 years, and then a couple of years ago he expanded the building. Then he went around where the old other Goodyear place that used to be, he bought that. See, that's a businessman. That's a businessman. But black folks want to praise Trump for being businessman. Let me give you some examples of the true business people that I know. There's a storage man, the man that owns a moving and storage company in Memphis. He started off real little. He started off at one building and end up buying another building, and he got fleets of 18-wheelers and stuff. His name is he goes by Ewing Moving and Storage. Is this in Memphis? There's another black woman who has a tree cutting service. She just don't do it just in Memphis. She contract where she go all over the country, and she does tree removals and stuff like that. When that's how she do. She contract her services. In fact, she was trying to get a location. She was thinking about getting a location down here. See, that's a business person. So when I look at it, when you don't know, you don't grow. Did you know that half of black people that get into business do not know how to market their business, especially when it's a time when stuff like this? Do you know that most black folks who go into business, especially like the one he did, they don't use a social IRS EIN number to separate their business from their personal social. So when they go bankrupt or have to declare a bankruptcy on the business, they got to do it on the personal because they use their own personal Social Security money. See, a lot of black folks don't know about the small business loan. They don't know about small business coaching. They don't know about small business mentor. They don't hire anybody to do legal contracts between them and the parties to come up with an agreement. No, they go get a place. They find their friends. Chris Blocker did that, or Blockers. He did that. Got his friend, and the friend ran the credit cards up, because you're going to always have that one that don't know business. Both of them got a good idea. One may have the money, the other one may have common sense, but then they don't know how to go in there and balance out pay the bills first, and then, pay themselves second, and he ended up going out of business and moved somewhere else. So, have we learned anything, black folks, today? We learned that, a lot of things that we do, that we are doing, call ourselves a businessman, call ourselves entrepreneurs. That's just a name. That's just a title. See, real people who are in business, when they start doing business with you, they come up with a contract. And if you don't want to sign the contract, they don't do business with you. That's how that starts. See, you know that you got to see the books. You got to see how they've been running their business. Don't just sit here and say, you know, hey, we in business and something. Anybody can go get a business. Anybody. So you got to ask, how has Trump helped a black man to where he can actually say that he made a good business deal or he's making America great again? I'll wait. I ain't heard nothing. Well, see, he trying to take away small business loans because that's how real black folks who will trying to get in business. That's what they do. He's not only that, but he's making it more harder for you to get in business, stay in business, and survive. So when you start talking about how he's making America great again, as far as business-wise, you have to ask this most important question that you have to ask of all things. Can your business survive Donald Trump? Well, let's see. I remember when my dad had a mom and pop store. You know that mom and pop store where the Dolene, I don't know about y'all, but the Dolene, you know, it was an old building and Dolene, and you could hear it coming and going, and you know, when he got ready to close up, he had to slam it real hard, and that's where the coldest drinks was, and that's where you got that sliced bologna and sliced thing. Oh, it was a mom and pop store. And one thing about it is that my daddy had did a tab. He used to give them credit, you know, Mr. Charles, can I have like $5 worth of bologna? And he used to make that bacon thick with the rind on. Oh my goodness, if you ain't been in the South, I don't know. It's just like the crackling here. But you cook the bacon and then you take the rind. Oh, anyway, we gonna get all into that. And he used to, you know, you knew when people were getting their food stamps, because they used to, back then it was the books. They come up and he'd, you know, give his book, and they pay him with the food stamps, and he gave them their change. You know, he gave them their receipt and everything. Then, you know, at the end of the month, close to the end of the month, they did it all over again. That's how mom and pop survived. Most of them survived off of SNAP benefits. And it was because of, you know, mom and pop stores back then like that provided, and there's some still doing it with the neighborhood. They give them credit so that they can be able to eat until they get their stamps again. See, people, like I said, people think that, you eat. That's another thing. People think that when you get stamps, you know, or stuff that you eating off the government, half of us work. Half of the people work. You know what? All these benefits, many of them, we work for. But anyway, make a long story short, you know, when I hear a black man talk about how they praising Trump and how Trump is a businessman and all of that, you know, it doesn't make me mad. It makes me feel sorry for them, because they don't know any better. This is in politics. This is in everyday life. They don't know any better. They don't. Because if you knew how he got his money, Trump ain't never worked a day in his life. He ain't worked a day in his life. He's still not working a day in his life. And he's sitting here taking away things that's going to help, that would have helped or was helping black people. Because you didn't use it, don't mean that it should have been abolished. But we sit here and we marvelize somebody that, you know, ain't never worked a day. Daddy gave a trust fund, and now you call everything he has touched has went to the ground. You can tell that, You know, his wife is just with him because it's a money deal. It's not a love deal, it's a money deal. And he's ruining the country. But you know what? I cannot get a smile on my face. Yeah, I do. Because I heard so many folks talk about how high things were when Biden was in office, how they barely could afford to eat, and how they were struggling, and they felt like that, Biden was the cause of all of this. Okay, things are 3 times higher now. How are you? I see people actually going to Dollar Tree to grocery shop. And that's finna change because Dollar Tree said they finna go up to $1.50. You see the economy going up, and this is how WAP Americans are. You see the economy going up. You see all this stuff that's going on that's in this administration. Did y'all know that ICE now is using Uber and Lyft to find immigrants? Did you also know that they're posting pictures for landscaping services and they're getting people that way? Yeah, did you know that? But anyway, instead of them worried about how you gonna eat and live, and when this healthcare thing coming down, you finna find out who got HIV. You finna find out who really sick. You finna find out all these cancer patients. You finna find out how many people got diseases that they can't work. You finna also, when they get rid of the health care, you finna see who being affected, because you finna see an old lady sitting on the porch or an old man sitting on the porch because the mama and the daddies, the parents, the children can't afford health care. So it's finna go back to the 70s. See, back in the 70s, the mama and the daddy, when you couldn't afford a nursing home because there wasn't no Medicaid, they used to get up every morning and let the parents sit on the porch all day and go let him get him something to eat, and then bring him back out and let him sit on the porch and ask him, and he's smelling a little bit bad and everything, and he could barely walk, and they leave him on the porch all day while people went to work, and you had one family member that didn't work. Oh yeah, it got bad. That was the worst thing. Then Medicaid started using nursing homes. They made it a lot better. But anyway, this is a good topic today. So you're sitting here, and when all of this stuff coming about, how can you sit here and say he's making America great? He's trying to wipe out your existence. That should be the it of all. When somebody don't want you to exist, they don't want your history to be known. They said it was bad. They cutting out things that they know that they think that the majority of black people need. SNAP, Department of Education. Some of y'all, like I said, I emailed Mississippi Valley State and said, you know what, y'all should be happy. He making sure y'all don't finish school. Yeah. Black men. He said he could relate. He don't take care of his kids, so I guess he feel like black men don't take care of their kids. Let's see, who else? Black men are criminals, because that's why I'm telling you now. Y'all laughing and giggling and sitting to the side and watching all this stuff happen, and pretty soon we're going to be on the next agenda. See, we're going to have to be, we're going to be asked for papers. They doing it now. They setting it up now. It ain't going to be hard for them to find and round us up again, because half of us got driver's license. Half of us got physical addresses and everything. See, eventually we going to have to start going underground. I was watching the movie The Hunger Games, and they was talking about how treason we ended up in a war within ourselves, and treason. and how they, as a result of that, to show appreciation, they did the Hunger Games. And that was corrupt. Yeah. See, black folks, we gotta pick and choose our role models. Cause like I said, when I hear somebody talk about how they don't need affirmative action and how they didn't need civil rights, and then how they admire a 34 count felon, if your son had 34 counts, he would not be seeing the light of day. They probably would have executed him. But he's able to run the country. And Russia is sitting up here praising. They said they've been trying to figure out how they could destroy America. They said now they praising Trump because you know why? They say he doing it for him. He doing it for him. Gave that man a red carpet when he got off the plane. Tap dance for him. Yeah. But black folks, you always got you always have that black person that no matter what you say, what you do, it's some here, it's a lot of them here. No matter what you say, what you do, they gonna praise that white man to the ground. You got some that's so scared that they don't want to be involved. They try to stay out of white folks' way because they don't want to get involved. They enjoying the freedom, but they don't want to get involved. And then you got some that get mad because you stand up. In reality, they admire you. Yeah, they admire you. So all you black businessmen, yeah, this your day. How's it working out for you? Right now, it was 76 major companies that filed for bankruptcy. They said more people are the bankruptcy rate is so high, the courts don't even know how to deal with it no more. It's an overflow. Bankruptcy courts all across the country. They said now we're at the point where banks don't even want to foreclose on your house. They not even trying to take your car now. Who gonna want to buy it? You got car lots, these mom and pop car lots and these big dealerships. They trying to push the new car, let alone the old car. And see, we still walking around here like we ain't got a care in the world. Especially in the red states, especially here. They walk around here like, you know what, like it's just business as usual. That's amazing. You can see it on their face. A lot of black folks doing it too. Walking around like, you know what, it ain't hit them yet. Train coming, finna hit them straight in the face. And they walking around here posting and buying cars and, talking about they making, showing they paper money. After a while, paper money ain't gonna be no damn good. The money ain't gonna be no good. If the economy crashes, it ain't gonna be no good. It's just like toilet paper. Our money, you know what, it is so bad here that other countries have stopped doing postal services here. We're not finna get a lot of international, and as soon it's gonna cut off. Yeah. That Trump vote really working, ain't it? That genius at work is working. That genius at work. One thing I can say about majority of black women, and I do say this, you know what? I'm gonna end this on a joking note. I was liking this guy. And he had a friend. And I met the friend and stuff, and we all went double dating and stuff, and I told the guy, I said, you know what, it's something about him I don't like. I haven't figured it out yet, but I don't like. So, we riding in the car, and I got real close to his friend, to the lady friend. And, you know, we talked and we went in, because we young, we in our 20s. But I kept telling him, I said, something about him is something about him I don't like. I do not like. But I never told her that. It was something about him I didn't like. Well, one night, you know, my friend, we were going to a bar. And my friend said, well, you know, I'm working, I'm going to be late. He said, if I come and get you, it'd be like, we'll be late getting there. I said, okay. Now his friend said, no, I'll pick her up. Me and so-and-so, we'll pick her up. And we'll go ahead and meet y'all there. We'll meet, all of us will meet you there. So I pulled up at my yard. I got out, got in the car. I went to drive. I had on this pretty little skirt with some tights and stuff, you know, and I looked real cute, you know. And his girlfriend was in the car. He was in the car. I was on her side. I got in on her side, passenger side. And, you know, I must have been tired, because back then I had a little girl. That's the girl I got now. And I must have dozed off, because it was kind of, the ride wasn't far, but it was like 20 minutes. So I must have dozed off. Something made me wake up. I woke up, this man had his hand between my knee and the skirt. And he was driving and trying to, I screamed. He yanked back. His girlfriend must have been asleep too. She must have been asleep. Because she said, what happened? He said, oh, I veered off and stuff. You know, I'm like, you know, nah, I ain't finna clown in the car. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. You pick and choose where you finna clown in. We went out laughing and giggling. You know, Samantha back in her day, you know, I didn't play this, so I'm not laughing and giggling. I'm, you know, all of them laughing and giggling. I'm looking at him. I'm staring him down. Everybody says, Samantha, what's wrong with you? Nothing. But I'm looking at him. He said, so finally he said, well, you know, we almost had an accident. I guess she just mad at me because we had an accident. I said, no. So he ended up going, you know, my friend took me home. And I told him, I said, you know what? I don't want to ever go out with them again. He said, why? I told him why. I said, the way I feel. I said it shouldn't, you know, I don't do that. I don't get on down. Well, let me tell you how it went. The friend went back and told the guy. And he believed the guy. And the girl, she still talked to me, but I cut ties with all of them. A couple of months later, he ended up meeting somebody else. And they went out and he did the same thing, but this time he slept with that girl. Then he tried to come back and apologize to me, but no, it was over. It was over. Make along the moral of that story, what do you say? What do you say? Many times we see the red flag. Many times we hang with folks we know that, you know what, or we jump along a party because we think that, you know what, we know that guy, even when the person is at our own demise. We are in a situation now where we are about our legacies. Our past legacy, our future legacy is about to be extinct. And we got black folks that still, I keep saying, at the picnic. The food is gone. The drinks are gone. The band has left. Most friends are gone. The cars are gone. But we still got a few that want to sit at in the picnic thinking that the party is still going on. You may not like the Democratic Party. I get it. I promise you. I don't expect nobody to like the Democratic Party because they disappointed us. But at the end of the day, don't hate, don't spite your nose to cut your nose off to spite your face. Right about now, this is about us, our survival, our healing, our uprising. And we can't afford to sit here and not vote and keep voting for that mess in. You're going to have to put your pride aside. These Democrats that are running, you ain't got to like them. But check them out before they do. Check them out. And if they are people that is fighting for your rights, you know what? You're going to have to bump it for a minute. Because our children's lives are at stake. Because what we do today going to be hard for them to correct it later on. We got to stop playing. We got to stop thinking that this man is out for our good when we know for a fact he's not. And you looking at it, train your mind, educate yourself. Stop listening to other folks and start reading. I tell you everybody, challenge me. If you think I'm saying something wrong, go fact find, not with another YouTuber, go fact find it in a book or whatever it is. Come back and put it. I promise you, I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. We black folks got to do better. Because right now, we are next on that chopping block. Please don't let the fact you were born here get it twisted. He don't give a shit.